Hi, I'm back. Um, so now I'm going to give you a short demonstration on how to use databases. Um, so here's your assignments for next week. And here you're going to read this, evaluating your sources. Please read this. Some of you might be mad because it's in a comic format again. We have the book in the library. If it will be easier for you to use the book, let me know and I'll get it for you. I found that it does a really great job, and other sources that try to tell you how to evaluate things are just really boring. So this is what I found, and I think it does a great job. So if you have trouble reading a comic, some people do, then let me know and I can help you through it. Then you're going to watch these tutorials. They're short but informative, and then you will use a database. Now, I am going to demonstrate this database called ProQuest Central. It is a multidisciplinary database, and like my previous little recording, I explained that you'll be able to find articles about all kinds of different topics in this database. If you prefer to use a different database because it applies to your topic better, like a psychology database or something like that, I have provided a link to the library homepage here, but I'm not requiring that you do some down and dirty research for this topic. I just want you to find some quality stuff. So I'm going to click here. If you are using your laptop, or if you are just off campus using any computer, laptop, cell phone, you will need to log in, and you do so by using your Elm info. All right. If you're on campus, on a campus computer, like in a lab or something, this will just pop up like it did for me. All right, so this is what ProQuest looks like. And you'll see this is a little different than Google in that like there's more than one box here, and it gives me some ways to limit what I'm looking at down here. So I'm going to tell you that searching a database and even searching Google works best when you use keywords rather than long strings of words or questions. So the topic that you'll be reading about in your next set of articles is about the funding of research studies and whether or not who funds research determines the results, basically. So if a cigarette company funds a study, does that dictate what the researchers find? You know, it's kind of a question. Is there bias in scientific research depending on who funds it? So if it's a government funder, maybe it's a little less biased than if it's the company itself or the industry itself. So anyway, I'm going to demonstrate using that topic because none of you have chosen it because you didn't read about it yet. So the keywords that are relevant to my question are research studies, right? Funding and bias, right? So what I'm going to do is start by, typing those keywords in these boxes. This word "and" is basically telling ProQuest, okay, find all the articles that talk about research studies, and then within those millions of articles, find the ones that talk about funding. Now, the word bias isn't in here anywhere, and ProQuest is cool, and it allows you to add another row. So if I want to narrow those down to articles that talk about bias, every time I add a word with this "and," I am limiting the number of results I get. I'm like lessening the number and making it more specific to what I'm actually looking for. So I'm going to hit search over here. Hopefully I'll get some stuff. It's probable that you will tweak your searching as you continue along. So I'm looking in here. and none of these look perfect. Funding source and research report quality. Now that could be something that is relevant. Here's something about bias. Relationship between funding source and conclusion. Now that seems to really work with my question, my topic, doesn't it? So I'm going to click there and I'll show you what you can do with it briefly. You can download it. You can create a citation. So MLA, APA, whatever style you prefer. That's cool. So in your assignment due next week, I just want you to copy this and plug it in, okay? All right. If you want to email it to yourself for later, then do so here. Use this, okay? So this provides a little abstract, which tells me, gives me like a snapshot of what this article contains. It looks like it was written in 2007, so I might want to be aware of that date. Okay, pay attention to the date. It might matter for my topic, it might not, right? So just be aware of the date. And then the text is down here. There's also this download PDF button that I could do, and here is the actual study. This is kind of what a scholarly article looks like. Okay, and then another cool thing that ProQuest does is it gives me related items. So even though I was having kind of a hard time with that first search that I did, finding stuff like at the top of the list, and I know none of you are going to page 2, right? I kind of don't often go to page 2 either. So I want the cream of the crop at the top of my results list. So what this does is it takes the words that are the subjects that are relevant in this particular article and tries to find other things that might work for me. So look, I'm seeing conflict of interest in medical research. Now, that's a term that I didn't think of using, but seems quite appropriate for me. So what I'm probably going to do is go back to the search screen after I've exhausted what I have in front of me and do a new search using conflict of interest as a key term. It looks like here's another one, comparative effectiveness reviews and the impact of funding bias. So funding bias might be a term that I use also. Okay. So I'm going to go back and just show you that now if I did, research funding, I didn't use that term before, and bias, and conflict of interest. You don't have to use 3 terms, I just am. Now I'm going to get a different set of results because I used different terms. And these seem a little more appropriate to me, but I didn't come up with them. The database helped me to come up with them. So don't get stuck in your own search terms that are in your head. Be open to using other terminology that you discover as you read about your topic. All right, that's kind of using a database in a nutshell. I will show you this though. So some of you may do really basic searches, and see, I have way too many results here. So how can I be sure that the best stuff is right at the top? I can't, just like in Google, right? So I can use these limiting factors over here. If I wanted to limit by date, I can just pull this little dude over and, well, probably that's too much, but I can get rid of a bunch of stuff by limiting the date of the results. It's taking a while, but, and then within this 10 years, I can even limit further. And lastly, I have to talk fast, I can limit by subject within my results. So this can be a really great way to limit the results that I have in front of me. All right, I have to stop talking now, and I think that's enough. If you need help using a database, please ask for help. That's my job, okay? So don't be ashamed or anything. Just come on in and get some help.